Hey everyone, it's Alexander the Real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to YouTube or Twitch. Gotta mute myself. Can you guys, somebody type something in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, because I'm on the multi-stream part of, using multi-stream on Streamlabs to view the chat, but I can't see anyone. But it says we have 8 people watching. Anyway, as I wait for somebody to type in the chat, I'll just go over the rundown. We are doing The Last Jedi. This is my live watch party for Star Wars Episode 8, which I have been excited for, but I've also been dreading. Razorbike says, hey, Alex. Okay, so the multi-stream tab works. James Bond 007 says, this should be fun. I think the more appropriate quote is, this is where the fun begins. But anyway, I've been looking forward to doing this because out of all the Disney movies released since... Out of all the Star Wars movies released since Disney bought Lucasfilm, this is my favorite. But I've also been dreading it because this movie... People are so ridiculously consumed with hate towards this movie that it just after a while it just kind of is not fun to watch or even talk. Okay, I won't say that. It's still fun to watch this movie, but it's never fun to talk about this movie considering that so many people are just, oh my god. DeQuantate says, I still have not seen this movie. That's are you going to watch it with us tonight, or are you just gonna be here and just talk? James Bond 007 says, okay, before we begin, I want to make something clear. If you're going to go into something that I'm already going to get into, then I'll just do that right now. Before we get into, I'm going to go through the housekeeping first, like I usually do. If you're watching me on Twitch and you follow me on Twitch, but you do not subscribe to me on YouTube, that is youtube.com/The Real Mr. Robinson. It's my main hub of entertainment. I do movie reviews, some TV show reviews. I've been kind of slowing down with TV because I started my full-time job again at Universal, so it's going to be mostly movie reviews from here. It's mostly going to be movie reviews. Today I just uploaded my review for the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading my review for Robin Hood. And then tomorrow, I might just pull the Band-Aid off and do the live watch party for The Rise of Skywalker. But I won't announce anything until we get to tomorrow, because I'm actually seeing A Quiet Place Part 2 tomorrow, because I haven't had the time to go out and watch it. And out of the 2 movies that came out Memorial Day weekend, Cruella and A Quiet Place 2, I was more interested in seeing Cruella. And but I'm going to see A Quiet Place Part 2 tomorrow. And if I have time to do a Rise of Skywalker watch party and just finish the Star Wars saga, I'll do it. And I'll announce it through social media. Or you might even see a link on YouTube. But if not, then we'll save it for next week. But anyway, if you follow me, if you subscribe to me on YouTube, but you do not follow me on Twitch, that is twitch.tv/Real Mr. Robinson. Weekend streaming will be back, not this coming weekend, but the next weekend, hopefully, because starting in the next week of June, my a more consistent schedule for me will start up at work again, so I'm able to get back home early enough to do these streams. So yeah, we'll just keep your eyes open for that. If you like what I'm doing on either YouTube or Twitch, you want to help support me financially, that is patreon.com/The Real Mr. Robinson. You can help support the channels for only $1 a month. But if you want access to exclusive content that no one else gets to see, you can help by pledging $3 or more. But if you can't do either, that's totally fine. Following me on Twitch and subscribing to me on YouTube is good enough. So now let's get into the big thing right here. Because this movie is as divisive as it is, and because people get so ridiculously angry over this movie, I'm going to be on high alert when it comes to the chat. So here's what's going to happen. If I see any racist, sexist, plain out hateful comments in the chat, whether it's towards this movie or towards anyone in the chat, whether you like the movie or you dislike the movie, you are getting banned. This is your only warning about that. I don't care who starts it. I'm going to finish it once it happens. Tevya Smolka, hello there. Welcome. Got 12 people watching throughout YouTube and Twitch. That is, that's great. That is great there. King Raiko says, even after nearly 40 years, even after nearly 4 years, yeah, people are just still people still do this movie. I'm doing pretty good. Anyway, as I'm saying, like, if I see any of you being disrespectful to anyone else in the chat, whether it's through YouTube or Twitch, because now I've edited, well, actually you can't see the comments because of the crate background here. But anyway, if I catch anyone being disrespectful to anyone else, you are getting an instant ban. If I catch any homophobic, racist, sexist comments regarding this movie, you are getting banned. If you spam, then those will be, this, like I said before, this is the only time where you will get that warning. This is your only warning. But if I see you criticizing the movie for, like, story reasons or whatnot, and you're civil about it, then that's totally fine, because film is subjective. But if I see you spamming that same criticism over and over again, then I'm going to warn you to stop. If you keep doing it, you're going to get banned. Okay, maybe that's too harsh. Maybe that's going a bit too far. But I'm going to at least mute you, because it's just spamming the same criticism again and again is absolutely ridiculous. Darkrai Holder says, glad to be here. It's insane the amount of hate this film has gotten. It's just a movie of all things. Exactly. And we're going to start it right now because this movie's 2.5 hours long. It is the longest Star Wars movie. And I will say this. Spiders Prime says, in the words of SpongeBob, don't be a jerk. I will say this, though. There are things about this movie that I don't like. And I will point that out. I will point the things out in this movie that I don't like. And we'll just hop into it. Because, yeah, I love this movie, but there are things in it that I just don't care for. The Doomslayer says, I got muted once. For what? I mean, yeah, you could tell me what it is as we start the movie. But anyway, I think we're set, ready to go. Again, I gave you guys that warning. Behave, or else I might have to pull out the ban hammer. So, with that being said, we are starting this right now. Oh, wait, hold up. Some reason the timer I'm doing the countdown timer, not the count up. My bad. Let's start this again. That way you all are on the same page. Hold on. Okay, let's try this again. Hello, Swisher35 on Twitch. Welcome. I'm starting this again right now. There we go. Now it's getting underway. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Still fills me with joy. William Clark on YouTube says, so for those who have seen Inside Llewyn Davis, again, how many people want Adam Driver and Oscar Isaac to sing Please Mr. Kennedy in outer space? Yeah, that's right. They were both in that movie. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. The First Order reigns. Having decimated the peaceful Republic, Supreme Leader Snoke now deploys his merciless legions to seize military control of the galaxy. Only General Leia Organa's band of resistance fighters stand against the rising tyranny. certain that Jedi Master Luke Skywalker will return and restore a spark of hope to the fight. But the resistance has been exposed. As the First Order speeds towards the rebel base, the brave heroes mount a desperate escape. I really like how this is, I like how this is the only... This and The Force Awakens are the only two Star Wars movies that, like, could be viewed as one movie. Because literally The Force Awakens... The Last Jedi ends. The Force Awakens... The Last Jedi begins right where The Force Awakens ends. Even though the opening 12 minutes of this movie is on Dakar, where the Resistance is evacuating. Doomslayer says, got muted because someone I know pissed at me because something I did on Twitter. Gotcha. I like how they didn't give Billie Lourd one of her mother's hairstylings from the original trilogy. Because J.J. Abrams, for some reason, wanted her to have the cinnamon buns in The Force Awakens and Leia's hair from Return of the Jedi in The Rise of Skywalker. Tevya Smoka says, Rise of Skywalker is just a mess. Yes, it is. I love that, like, roaring right before the dreadnought exits hyperspace. Like, it's like something big's coming. And there's BB-8 who delivers the I have a bad feeling about this line. Yeah, because you notice that quote does not get uttered in this movie. That's because BB-8 says it. Okay, I will admit, and I've not been shy about saying this about this movie several times. I think the humor reaches points of prequel level humor where I don't think it's bad as bad as the humor in the prequel, but it is certainly distracting at points. Like this sequence right here. I mean, I chuckle at this sometimes. And on the commentary, Rian Johnson said that considering that people expected the middle chapter to be kind of dark, he really liked the tone that J.J. Abrams set up with The Force Awakens and wanted to assure people that there is humor, like they can laugh at this, they can laugh with this movie. And he described this opening skit as a Monty Python skit, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that doesn't really work for Star Wars. And also the addition of a Yo Mama joke. It's like, really, Ryan? But, I mean, whatever. Like, out of all the humorous bits in The Last Jedi, the about his mother joke and some of the stuff with BB-8 on Canto Bight doesn't work. Like, that's the lowest points for me. So the Dreadnought, an example of production design, the Dreadnought bridge is basically just the same bridge as, it's literally the same set they built for the Star Destroyer bridge, but redecorated. They redecorated it with some of those control panels to make it look like a submarine, and they added the red lighting, because this movie loves to use crimson red. So that's a cool shot right there, where we like get to see BB-8 go inside the X-Wing and do his repairs. Even if the repairs seem to be a little more troublesome than anticipated. Okay, we'll get to King Raiko said, I think Hux should have more quickly picked up that Poe is screwing with him. That's the thing about dictators, is like they're so serious that they kind of don't realize when they're being trolled. And considering we had a president for 4 years, that's cool. Where like Poe manages to slip through that thing, the TIE fighter gets cut in half, the pod goes flying into a... That's awesome. That's one bit of humor that I like. Considering that, like, 3PO has such a blank expression that Leia's able to look at him and go, wipe that nervous expression off your face, 3PO. Anyway, someone said, something. Tevon Smolka says, that still confused me, because how did the New Republic get destroyed after Starkiller Base got blown up? Because Starkiller Base blew up the New Republic before it got destroyed. Did you not watch The Force Awakens? Like, that, I don't know. Anyway, someone says something about the Rise of Skywalker. But seeing the, okay, I'm not gonna spend my time finding it. Anyway. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the shot of the dreadnought firing down at the base. This goes into something I have a problem with, not with this movie, but with the Rise of Skywalker. There's a lot, basically, in the sense that the first half of the Rise of Skywalker feels like the first half of the Rise of Skywalker feels like J.J. Abrams trying to remake his own Episode 8. No, that was the New Republic, Tevian Smoka. Like, that literally was the New Republic that got destroyed. It's just, like, you know, this movie takes place 30 years after, Return of the Jedi, and 29 years after the formation of the New Republic. So it doesn't make sense after that whole, like, after 3 decades to continue saying the New Republic. The unsung hero of this movie. Yeah, this movie is just more interesting to look at than... I mean, I like The Force Awakens. I still love The Force Awakens, but you could definitely tell that this movie is just more interestingly directed than The Force Awakens, and especially Rise of Skywalker. James Bond 007 on YouTube says, movies like Infinity War and The Empire Strikes Back are pretty dark for their franchises, but still have considerable amount of well-placed humor. Yeah, that's true, but I will say this. I'll like, the bits of humor in this movie that I think are bad, I'll point out, but having seen this movie... Oh god, how many times have I watched The Last Jedi? 3 times when it came out in theaters, twice on Blu-ray, not counting this one. So this would be my 6th time watching The Last Jedi, which some of you are going, oh god, how can you sit through this movie constantly? Yeah, I love it. That's why. But anyway, Um, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the humor, after watching this movie about 6 times, uh, most of the humor I've started to warm up to, especially when considering that the parts of this movie that you laughed at when you saw it in theaters, you don't laugh at the second time because it wasn't intended to be a joke. Like with Luke tossing his lightsaber behind him. Captain Kennedy just looks at the oncoming explosion like, oh, hell. And so Poe Dameron really got nothing to do in The Force Awakens. And I like with this, they give him his story of, yeah, he's the best pilot in the Resistance. And he's pretty much a war hero. But he needs to learn to be a leader in desperate times. And the notion that, yeah, they destroyed a separatist dreadnought, but at the cost of their entire bombing squad and most of their fighters, it didn't feel worth it in the end. Okay, here's something. I want you all to pay attention to a stormtrooper in the back. Uses the Force to drag him across. And then he turns him around. Look at the stormtrooper in the background. Okay, watch the stormtrooper right there. He just kind of takes a step. He has a nervous step backwards. I'm pretty sure that was just the extra not realizing his mark, so he just readjusted himself. But it looks more like that stormtrooper is like, okay, I'm just gonna get out of Snoke's view just in case he decides to blame anyone else. Tevon Smoke on YouTube says, I still wonder why didn't they have Y-Wings? I mean, I think the reasoning, well, at least up until J.J. Abrams decided to make his fan fiction with Episode 9, was because the Y-Wings were old ships. Like, by the time we get to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, the Y-Wings are over, like, either 50 or 60 years old. And it just makes logical sense that they wouldn't be using ships that old, this far out. But again, J.J. Abrams had to come in and screw that all up. And we're back on Act 2, picking up right where The Force Awakens left off. We are now in Act 2, King Raiko. Razorbike on YouTube says, I only seen it once, and that was when it came out. Not because I hated it or anything. I just never got around to rewatching it. That happened with me and Captain America Civil War, where I love the movie, but because it's so long, it's not a movie that I rewatch constantly. Yeah? And even then, as much as I love The Last Jedi, I will admit this is not a movie that I rewatch constantly because it's 2.5 hours long. And, well, I mean, also part of that is, like, the fan base has kind of ruined, like, I don't know. Whatever. Not getting into that part. Yeah, with the Dreadnought, King Raiko says, was Luke throwing his dad's lightsaber behind him supposed to be funny? No, it wasn't. I mean, I don't think it wasn't meant to be funny at all. But I do remember people laughing at it when they first saw it. Or porgs. I'm sure everyone expected that Porg to accidentally turn on the lightsaber and kill the other one. And there's Luke's X-Wing in the water, where it could never be used again. Chewie. Where's Han? And then we immediately cut to Kylo Ren. That's what you call a scene transition right there. God, that's like I can't. I think they actually Daisy Ridley actually said that this set was, or at least that red backdrop was real, and that it was actually burning. The rust of Skip Dipper. Wow. Okay. Razorback said it's not the time that scared me off. It's just I liked it, and then people acted like the film committed genocide, and I didn't want to rewatch it, and ended up hating it. See, that's vile. The fact, like I mean, this movie, it's difficult to get into conversations with people without somebody being a hateful prick towards it. So it's just like that's why I don't like talking about this movie that often, but I still love it. And it's like don't let people shame you for the shit that you like. It's like I will never understand for the life of me why people love Batman versus Superman. Like I don't get it at all. But one of my good friends, Sean Chandler on YouTube, really likes that movie, and I'm not gonna shame him for it. But really, with what they set up in the Force Awakens, where Luke walked away. Yeah, where Luke walked away from the Order after, or his new Jedi Order after he lost his nephew to the dark side. It makes total sense for Luke to be doing the things that he's doing. And plus, it'd be boring if we went through the exact same routine as Empire Strikes Back, where Luke trains Rey the same way Yoda trained Luke. Here's a bit of character growth right there, where Snoke is basically trying to groom Kylo Ren to be like his grandfather, Darth Vader, to the point where that's why he has the mask. And then it's like, look, I can never... He kind of realizes I'll never live up to Vader, so I'm going to destroy this mask. I mean, I'm sure we might see his Jedi Academy, like maybe in some sort of animated form. We might see his Jedi Academy. Yeah. James Bond 007 says, "Alas, you're no Vader. You're just a child in a mask." Kylo Ren. Okay, boomer. Oh, you never noticed that detail, Spiders Prime, where Snoke briefly used um, Force Lightning? Um, King Reiko said the alternative to what Rian did with Luke was make him a static old man. Huh? And you know, funny enough, it's like so many people complain about how Rian Johnson ruined Luke Skywalker for them. What Rian Johnson did is actually closer to what George Lucas wanted to do with Luke in his episode 8. People made such a big fucking deal. I'm sorry. People made such a big deal about Luke, the green milk. It's like, why? What? Why? Like, it's just... Like, he just... I don't know. But at the same time, I do like that kind of look on his face after he drinks it. Like, that's the kind of look I give for people that just get so ridiculously mad at this movie. You mad, bro? That is an anime-looking fish if I ever saw one. WTF was that in the water, said Jedi... James Bond 007. Some creature... Some, like, weird serpent. James Bond 007 says, I need to get me some of that tasty green milk. They sell that at Galaxy's Edge. I'm pretty sure... I'm willing to bet just because of how petty the fan base is. Or maybe I'm just over-analyzing this, but I'm sure the blue milk sells more than the green milk. But honestly, I couldn't tell you the difference between the tastes. Like, both of them are really good, but they both taste the same to me. I guess the green milk has a little more of a tropical flavor to it. Again, I guess, but I haven't been back to Galaxy's Edge since my very first visit, and I don't see myself going back to Disneyland at least maybe until next year. Maybe sooner because Avengers Campus is opening up, but it's going to be a while before I go back. Razorbike says, as someone who grew up near farms, people would absolutely drink titty milk from animals. Thank you. I mean, that's a weird way to put it, but I'd drink in milk from a cow's udder once. I didn't suck on it, but but I drank it from a cup as soon as it was squeezed out. Like, that's not really unusual. King Raiko said, I presume the Last Jedi dictators have conspired to make sure the sales for the green milk are super low. I mean, they'll make YouTube videos about it, about how there's some made-up numbers that they came up with where Galaxy's Edge is doing poorly or whatnot. I mean, people try to... Like, Star Wars YouTube... Hold on. I actually like this little line coming up. This joke. Where are you? Where are you from? Nowhere? No one's from nowhere. Alright, Jakku. Alright, that is pretty much nowhere. Yeah, Mark Hamill is so good in this movie. Razorbike says, yeah, and Luke grew up on a farm on Tatooine as well. Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, King Raiko. As I was saying, King Raiko, like, so many people have made, fake YouTube videos just spewing out, I hate this term, fake news about how Galaxy's Edge is doing poorly, like how it's not a lot of people are attending it. And I was like, No, it's because a lot of people were smart enough to not go during the summer because some people knew it was going to be crowded. Which is what I did. I didn't go until after Labor Day, 2019. Okay, that slap right there. Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac literally got off a plane to London from filming Annihilation, and I think Rian Johnson said that this was the first thing that Oscar Isaac had to film, which was Carrie Fisher slapping him several times. I heard something about like Finn being useless in this movie, or how they did him dirty. He didn't actually join the Resistance officially because he keeps talking about Rey for the first bit in this movie. And if you remember in The Force Awakens, he heads to Starkiller Base with Han and Chewie just to save Rey. Like, that's his only goal. Jesus, that thing's big. Jesus. And that piece of tech, like, literally the previous year, okay, two things. One, the lightspeed tracking was hinted at in Rogue One the prior year, where Jyn Erso's listing off all the new projects that the Empire is working on. So, hey, nice way to follow up on that. And two, people complained about like the transports having to use fuel, as if like, wait, when did this pop up? Like, when did fuel become a priority? It's like, this is like a way to like raise the stakes in terms of our plots. It's like the heroes are now in a real dangerous situation where if they make one wrong move, they're done for, and the galaxy is doomed forever. I love Kylo Ren's TIE silencer. I mean, this is a ship that I use constantly in Battlefront 2, just because it's such a beast. No, Tali Lintra! You were a character that I would never have cared about unless you were in Battlefront 2. So again, Poe gets more to do. So that's Tom Kane voicing Admiral Akbar, who voices Akbar in like a lot of the video games. And this was because the original voice actor for Admiral Akbar from Return of the Jedi, and who played Akbar in The Force Awakens, died in between movies. So he had to step in. Tom Kane had to step in and pretty much voice Akbar. James Bond 07 asks, I have a question for you, Alex. What is your most rewatched Star Wars, Godzilla, and MCU movie? For Godzilla, Jesus, I don't know, because there's 30 plus movies. Yeah, this part, I don't know if I don't know if this is going to be a major controversy. Maybe this is a controversial opinion, but No, I'm not gonna say it. Um. King Marco says it can be argued his arcs in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi should have been together in one film, and the former had just left it half completed. That's the problem with The Force Awakens. As much as I love it, there's so many unanswered questions in that movie. That J.J. Abrams he just wanted to keep a mystery going. Whereas Rian Johnson is not concerned about, like, the mysteries. He just wants to, like, he doesn't want to leave anything open-ended. So here's, okay, this scene with Leia pulling herself to the Force. It's great to actually see Leia use the Force because she is Anakin's daughter. It makes sense that she would do it. The problem is the way that's filmed. It comes across as a little, I don't know, the way it looked goofy the way it was filmed. Again, I don't have any problem with Leia using the Force at all, but it did look corny. Have I read the Rise of Kylo Ren comic? No, I haven't. I haven't. The only things I've read in terms of, like, Star Wars books ever since Disney bought the rights was Catalyst, the Rogue One novel, and or at least bits of it, and the Rogue One novelization. Oh, you know what? My brother actually bought me a Poe Dameron comic for Christmas when The Force Awakens came out. You know, Chewie shouldn't feel bad about eating porgs in front of other porgs because I used to own chickens as pets, and not only at my old house, I used to have pet chickens, and not only would I eat chicken in front of them while I'm sitting outside and they're running around, but sometimes they'd go full cannibal and try to peck at my chicken that I'm eating. Oh, I guess to answer that question, my most rewatched Star Wars movie probably is Return of the Jedi. My most rewatched MCU movie is The Avengers, and my most rewatched Star Wars movie, no, my most rewatched Godzilla movie might be shit, I don't know. James Bond 007 says, what even are the porgs? They're supposed to be space puffins, pretty much. That's a really nice way to, I really like the, like, round away back to that message. Like, literally that message that Luke was not supposed to stumble on kind of kicked off his journey, and now it's pretty much acting as a callback to help out. Um, but anyway, the reason the porgs existed. Anyway, as I was saying, for the porgs, the reason they were created is because when the crew was filming on Skellig's Island, as place for Octu, there were tons of puffins flying around the area. So rather than digitally removing every single puffin, they just decided to create a new creature and just replace the puffins with them, and that's how the porgs were created. I mean, yes, the porgs did sell a lot of merchandise, but that's not the reason they were not created for merchandising reasons. They were created because we have so many puffins in this shot that we need to get rid of them. It still blows my mind that Laura Dern is in this movie. I guess because I'm just so familiar with her as Ellie Sattler from Jurassic Park. Okay, people say, why doesn't Holdo just give out the plan? She lists out why she doesn't tell Poe Dameron the plan. Boom, there you go. Huh? I mean, if you had a like trigger happy pilot at a point when like in a heavy life or death situation, they do not need to know all the details because they're going to act recklessly. Yeah. James 107 says when Laura Dern showed up in this movie with her purple hair, I was like, WTF? Oh yeah, because there's never been any outlandish looking hairstyles or costumes in Star Wars. You know, I want to say poor Kelly Marie Tran, but she's risen like a phoenix from the ashes. Like she pretty much rebranded herself after like the backlash of Rose, which I think I like Rose. I'm gonna say it right now. I like Rose, and I think I like Kelly Marie Tran in this movie. I mean, Rose. I like Rose because she, along with all the other characters, are more specifically. No, yeah, I'd say with a lot of the other characters, mainly Finn and Rey, um, represent one of the themes of this movie, where a nobody can be a somebody. Yeah? Like you don't need to be an important figure in order to in order to like make a difference. And it's like in the same way Rey was looking at Luke as some big hero and then realized, oh, he's not what I thought he was. Same thing with Rose here. She clearly idolized Finn, and then right here it's like, you are not what I realized, and I'm disappointed. Um, I will say this. The King Ryko on YouTube says, Lucas gave Jar Jar Binks a second chance in the spotlight of Attack of the Clones. Now, to be fair, he did tone down Jar Jar Binks, but he did give him an important scene that pretty much set the groundwork for the original trilogy. Yeah? But yeah, Abrams and Terrio and The Rise of Skywalker reduced Rose Tico to a background prop. Okay. Razorbike on YouTube says, I want to say what happened to Kelly Marie Tran was unexpected, but this is the same fan base that bullied a 9-year-old. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about, that's what I'm going to say. All the backlash, all the hate that Kelly Marie Tran got. Like, first of all, if you hate the character, that's fine. Hate the character, but don't pull the actress into it. But anyway, no, Poe Dameron, it's not about blowing shit up. Anyway, as I was saying, the backlash that she got made me think back to all the hate that I gave Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best for The Phantom Menace, and made me go, oh wow, this is the same scenario, and I feel like such a prick. Oh, you taking off, Doomslayer? Oh, good night. You know, there's a hold on, what? Um, so it just made me think back to Ahmed Best and Jake Lloyd. It's like, look, I don't like the way those characters are written at all, but to hear that the backlash Jake Lloyd got was like really fucked up his life, and that Ahmed Best had suicidal thoughts, it's heartbreaking. But it also makes me so happy that Kelly Marie Tran has really bounced back. I mean, she's in one of my favorite movies of the year, Raya and the Last Dragon. Um, and I think she's wickedly talented. So yeah, here's somebody that probably didn't need to be in the movie. Or I mean, at least like, if Maz Kanata was not going to be in a bigger role in The Last Jedi, then maybe she shouldn't have been in it at all. But I do like this concept of like the holograms can show like an actual video feed rather than just a single person. That's a cool concept that we've never seen with Star Wars. Turner Jenkins says, man, Kelly Marie Tran deserved better than what she got from both this movie and what her character ends up in The Rise of Skywalker. See, I disagree about this movie. We'll get back into that once we reunite with Finn and Rose. But King Raiko says, I would have sacrificed DJ to get to more Maz. She's cool. Yeah, I probably would have done the same. Lucas C.A. Roca. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat, but welcome. The fandom treated George Lucas as public enemy #1 for 16 years. We don't have any right in saying Disney disrespected George's vision. We asked for this. Exactly. I could not have summed that up perfectly, Lucas C.A. Roca. You hit the nail on the head right there, sir. I love this. I love this. I just love all the new stuff that that they come up with in this movie with this force power where Rey and Kylo Ren's minds are linked, or they could see each other light years away. It's such a novel concept. Um, yeah, back in 2012, everyone was glad that George Lucas won't be involved in the new Star Wars. Disney simply made what the fans wanted. Yeah, like literally, you can never please the fandom. Somebody said, as the old saying goes, or Razorback says, like the old idiom goes, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. It's like literally like what 2012 when Disney got the rights. Um, yeah, when Disney got the rights in 2012, people were so excited that there'd be new Star Wars content without George Lucas. The Force Awakens comes out. Everyone loves it. So this shot right here where they're walking up the stairs, there are puffins all over the place, and they just digitally replace them with porgs. By the way, it's yeah, Force Awakens comes out. Everyone loves it, but there's some criticism of it's too similar to Star Wars. And this is literally after like people have criticized the prequels for at least 15 years or at least 10 years of how they feel nothing like Star Wars. And then The Last Jedi comes out is not The Empire Strikes Back. And people are saying this is not Star Wars at all. And it's like, what? Can y'all make up your minds? Uh, Tevius Mocha says, then they admitted that there was no plan for the sequel trilogy. Well, I mean, with what we have, yeah, there was no plan. But I think had we gotten Duel of the Fates from Colin Trevorrow, that concept of the sequel trilogy had no plan would not ever be uttered. Because if you read the stuff Colin Trevorrow wrote for his episode 9, it feels like a proper follow-up to The Last Jedi, and a lot of things from The Last Jedi carry over into his version. And I still think The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi complement themselves very well. And then The Rise of Skywalker, like, it's like they're on the path. Like, with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, they're on the path to this road. They're making their destination. And then the Rise of Skywalker comes out, and it's just like, whoosh, like they just jerk the wheel into a ditch. But that's just me. We will never know what the outcome of the sequel trilogy would have been had they stuck with Colin Trevorrow. But I think people would not have said that this trilogy had no plan. Because you have to take into consideration that The Rise of Skywalker was a reactionary film. It's a reactionary film the same way that the theatrical cut to Justice League was a reactionary film. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think Colin Trevorrow was going to make, like, Rey a gray Jedi, or in the sense that, yeah, like, with, like, having a balance. And that Rey was learning to control that balance between the light and the dark. Yeah. Okay, now we're back with Finn and Rose. Just jump to Lightspeed. God, Billy Lord. I still can't forget. I still can't get over how hilarious she is in Booksmart. If you guys never seen Booksmart, it's a great coming of age, great high school teen movie. But Billy Lord just kills every scene that she's in. Um, what if Jon Favreau contributed to the sequel trilogy? I bet they wanted him. I think he was in the running for it, but maybe he was busy with other things. But I mean, thank God we got the Mandalorian from him. I love how everything goes silent. Like the second Rey and Kylo Ren connect with each other, like the background noise is just dead silent. Uh, Tevya Smoka says he was probably busy with The Mandalorian, which I approve. No, I mean, I think he was probably busy with other things. He was probably busy at the time. At the time Disney bought Lucasfilm, he was working on Chef, and then he started work on the Jungle Book. So he was clearly busy with other things. Not Star Wars related, where he couldn't. Can we stop with the desert planets, please? I mean, it's weird that they jump out of hyperspace to Cantonica, which looks like a desert planet, but then we visit it, and it certainly doesn't look like one. Isaac, hello there. I didn't know. I don't know if you've been on the streams before, but welcome. He says, proof The Last Jedi is great and The Force Awakens is only good. I can't watch The Force Awakens without thinking about The Rise of Skywalker, whereas I can watch The Last Jedi without even thinking about The Rise of Skywalker. All The Last Jedi does is make me appreciate it more every time. Okay, so, Canto Bight. There's some stuff I like in it. Some stuff I don't like in it. I think it's a fantastic set. I think Canto Bight is an amazing set in terms of Star Wars production design. There's a lot of great alien designs. The humor with BB-8 is not great. And if I'm correct, did Mark Hamill voice that alien creature? Because I know there's some, like, in addition to playing Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill did voice some sort of creature in Canto Bight. I mean, there's a point to the Canto Bight sequence that there's a point to the Canto Bight sequence. I mean, when you get later on to the movie, it does feel like we just kind of went in a circle or nothing was resolved, but that was more the point to this. I get what Rian Johnson was doing. And I think recently Kelly Marie Tran was on Ladies Night that Perry Nemiroff hosts on Collider, and she talks about how she feels about the Canto Bight stuff, and she loves it. And yeah, it pretty much shows how like how the First Order profits from like with their equipment. Like the wealthy 1% supplies them with it, and the Resistance often gets so desperate that they have to turn to this form as well. That's Justin Theroux right there, wearing the red plum bloom. Don't disrespect a droid like that. James Bond 007 says, why are there two different species of space horses in this movie and The Rise of Skywalker? Because Rise of Skywalker was a reactionary film, and J.J. Abrams wanted to remake Episode 8 in a sense. I mean, we'll get to that when we get to it. I just want to enjoy The Last Jedi. And I will say, like, all the Canto Bight stuff is, yeah, the Canto Bight stuff is, if there was, I mean, I still think the humor is the weakest element of the movie, but, Canto Bight is not as bad as people make it out to be, huh? But easily the best stuff about this movie is everything involving, Luke, Rey, Kylo Ren. Like, all the Octu stuff, I think, is brilliant. Okay, that gets a laugh out of me. Um, Maybe I wouldn't use the word brilliant for that little bit of humor. It is true, Ray. Here's the thing with this part of the movie when like people got so up in arms that the Last Jedi that this movie um this movie kind of devalued I don't know if I want to say devalued the Jedi, but like how it painted the Jedi as like the worst part, like trying to help the galaxy, but in a sense they really make things worse. Huh? And and the thing is, like, the prequels and the Clone Wars um, solidify that statement in this movie. Like when you watch the prequels and the Clone Wars, the old Jedi Order was terrible. Actually, I mean they held back Anakin, who was supposed to be the chosen one. Their actions is what caused him to turn to the dark side. They made Ahsoka leave on her own terms because she couldn't trust them after she was falsely accused of a crime she didn't commit. And yeah, this is a different sequence or different version of the shot that we saw in The Force Awakens. Isaac says, something I love about that sequence with Luke and Rey is that it actually made me look at the prequel trilogy in a different way. Actually, in a way, acknowledging the Clone Wars in the best way possible. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what's J.J. Abrams' approach to the prequels in The Force Awakens? The first line of that movie is, "This will begin to make things right," and then he blows up the Republic in a city planet that looks like Coruscant, but isn't. That's what J.J. Abrams thinks of the prequels right there. But Rian Johnson's approach is like, look, we'll still acknowledge the prequels exist, and let's just expand upon stuff. Rian Johnson has, I wonder what Rian Johnson. I feel like Rian Johnson has voiced his opinions on the prequels. Okay, one of those explosions right before that pilot says Godspeed, or Godspeed, was that was a lion roar. Yeah, I want to see if Rian Johnson has said anything about the prequels. Okay, last year Rian Johnson has a nice thing to say about the prequels. Um, Isaac says, "I would pay good money if Luke mentioned Ahsoka in the movie." Yeah, yeah. I wonder if we'll ever get, since Rosario Dawson's getting her own miniseries as Ahsoka Tano. I wonder if we'll see that happen. Because it would be weird if they didn't meet. Yeah, DJ's an interesting character in the sense that he just looks out for he sticks his neck out. He doesn't stick his neck out for anyone but himself. Like, he will snitch the second he's in trouble just to save his own skin. Okay, here's what Rian Johnson says about the prequels. Lucas made a gorgeous 7-hour-long movie for children about how entitlement and fear of loss turns good people into fascists. And he did it while spearheading nearly every technical sea change in modern filmmaking of the past 30 years. As much as I don't think the writing is good with the prequels, I agree with that statement. At least when you think about it within the context of the Clone Wars as well. Yeah, this part, I'm not, like, the BB-8 humor here just doesn't work. Like, him shooting all those coins like a gun, and then doing the Western like that. I mean, I'm not gonna question the logistics of how a droid can how a droid can blow smoke off his launcher, because how can half the ships in Star Wars maneuver? But whatever. I'm not gonna. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't really work as well. That is a real head. Like, that Fathier head there, that's real and was created by Neil Scanlon. I wonder if they made several heads of those, or they just did some digital manipulation. I feel like they must have done digital manipulation. Or if they created individual heads for all of them, that'd be impressive. Okay, so this ring, um, I think Kelly Marie Tran still has that because she was in a video not too long ago where she actually has that ring. King Reiko says DJ exists for Finn's character development, and a character can just exist for the expansion of another. Yeah, I mean that's the reason Holdo exists primarily, to expand Poe's character. The CG on the Fathiers does look a little wonky. Okay, that was corny. Like the weird alien going, "Woo!" and then Finn looking backwards like, "Huh?" Like that was corny. And you know the weird thing about the Canto Bight? Like, people make such a big deal about Canto Bight. But I caught this movie at work. Like, it was playing in the break room about a year after it came out. And my entire break... like, my breaks usually go on for about, like, 20, maybe 25 minutes. And, considering that this is a 2.5-hour movie, the Canto Bight sequence only lasts for less than 20 minutes. So it's not so it's not that, it really is not that long. Turner Jenkins asks, doesn't this trilogy take place within like a few weeks or something? If I'm correct, I think The Rise of Skywalker takes place a year. I think The Rise of Skywalker takes place a year after The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. But yeah, The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens take place really close together. King Turner Jenkins says, does anybody got any rent that they can give me? I don't get that. King Reiko said, did they necessarily have to free all the horses and make a scene at the casino? For me, who's the like screw you 1% millennial, yeah, they did. Razorback says, sorry, I just missed the past 5 minutes or so of the stream because my younger brother walked in and we started lightly ribbing on each other for our opinions on this. Huh. Yeah, the Canto Bight stuff is done, huh? Y'all can move on with your day. There is a deleted scene that I wish made it into this movie, and that was the third lesson where there's that party with all those like island natives that Rey thinks like, oh, they're in trouble, and that makes Rey lose trust in Luke, and Luke kind of takes into consideration how important how I don't know. It was a deleted scene that was later put in the novelization, but I kind of wish it was in this movie. Yeah. Give rent. That's the Spider-Man thing. Okay. I do like how like Rey could just hear the noise go, like everything goes silent, and she's just like, "We're doing this again." The image that launched 1,000 fanfics. Like those. I'm sorry to point this out, but those pants are really riding high. Um, have I seen The Bad Batch? Says Tevye Smoka. Yes, I have actually. I'm liking it, but the last episode I thought was kind of pointless. So apparently, this moment was the moment that broke Star Wars people, or where they felt that Luke was like received character assassination. But it's like, have you watched the rest of this movie, or at the very least, have y'all seen Rashomon? Like Star Wars, everyone knows that Star Wars was influenced by Kurosawa's Hidden Fortress. And both the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian have done their renditions of Seven Samurai. And so with that moment, um, where Kylo Ren tells his side of the story, like Luke tells his side but omits a lot of stuff. Kylo Ren tells his side, and then Luke offers the truth on what happened. Like, that's Rashomon. That's Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon right there, where you have these different perspectives, and then you have the truth. King Reiko said, and then we have the line that was taken far out of context. Oh, the "let the past die" line. It's like, yeah, so many people like took that line as some advice, and I'm just like, y'all know the villain said that, right? You know who said that line, right? The goddamn villain of the movie. I can't show that far, but it's like, James Bond 007 says, didn't Jeremy Jahns say that Rey didn't start wanting to turn Kylo Ren to the light side until she saw him with his shirt off? Yeah, but okay, this might be I don't know how many of y'all are fans of Jeremy Jahns, and I kind of like him, but his review style, I just don't think his review style is something you should take that seriously. Like for me, Jeremy Jahns has just kind of turned into the face of what the Star Wars... Not really. No, I will take that back right now. Because with Geeks and Gamers and the Quartering, they are the face of what the Star Wars fandom has become. But Jeremy Jahns is just... He's gotten too whiny, and he's just... I don't know. I don't think he tries that hard with his reviews. I'll say that. By the way, I love that there was... I don't know if it was Star Wars Celebration or some other con, but I love that a whole bunch of women dressed as Rey decided to recreate this scene. Like, that is just... That's the side of Star Wars fandom that I love. Your parents are... Your parents are... Wait for it. Nobody. King Riker says we're not a line. It's not a line we're supposed to sympathize with either. Exactly. And yet, like, listen to the dial, like that sequence right there, where Rey finally gets the truth about her parents in that they were nobodies, and then Kylo Ren says, like the dialogue that Kylo Ren delivers, where parents threw you out like garbage, they sold you for drinking money, and then listen to what he says in The Rise of Skywalker, which completely contradicts everything that this movie sets up. Tevlon Smoka says, true, another example of the fandom being a mess is, and I know I'm going to get hate about this, and that's, well, Geeks and Gamers. I mean, Geeks and Gamers, they're just horrible people. The best thing is when they had Zack Snyder on for an interview, and right off the bat, Zack Snyder said, I do not condone Geeks and Gamers, and I hope the logo's not being shared on this. And then Geeks and Gamers threw a fit about it and said, oh, Zack Snyder wasn't in his elements. I was like, no, Zack Snyder, as much as his fan base is troublesome, and he should call out the bad seeds in his fan base, Snyder did the right thing by calling y'all out on your show. Mr. Godzilla says, I see where you get the Rashomon stuff, but what also separates the film from this film, in my opinion, as someone who saw the film last semester for a class in Kurosawa, is Kurosawa leaves the truth open for the audience to decide who is right. That's true, but that's mainly because this is a franchise film. This is the middle chapter in a trilogy. Whereas Rashomon was just a one and done thing. Lucas A.C. Roca says, Ryan confirmed that Rey's mirror scene was directly inspired by Under the Skin. Oh, really? That's clever. So yeah, this moment, it's like, it baffles me why people say that, like, they felt betrayed with how Luke Skywalker was portrayed, because he says, in the briefest moment of pure instinct, I thought I could stop it. It passed like a fleeting shadow, and I was left with shame. Like, immediately, Luke knew what he did was wrong. And again, it goes into what this movie and the entire prequels and the Clone Wars established. The old Jedi ways were worthless. But back to that mirror sequence. I love Rian Johnson's thinking about how, in Empire Strikes Back, the worst thing Luke could have, the Last Jedi Empire Strikes Back, the worst thing Luke could have heard was that his father was not killed by Vader, but rather is Vader. Like, my father's the worst person in the galaxy, or second worst next to Palpatine. And then it's like, with this movie, Rey's looking for answers. The best thing she can hear is that she is related to someone. This movie, like, does the opposite, where it's like, no, that's not, like, you're not going to get the easy answer. I'm so glad that they never told us that Yoda would be in this movie. Like, if I had heard, Hello Greedo said this when The Last Jedi came out. If I had heard ahead of time that Yoda was going to be in this movie, I probably would have rolled my eyes. But for Yoda to come across as a surprise, I welcomed it, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Every critique of the Jedi that this movie makes is completely warranted, says James Wan 007. Exactly. It's weird that the fan base was taking Kylo Ren's "Let the past die" quote as seriously as they did, when everything that Yoda says here should be what people are focusing on. Skywalker. And I love how it's a puppet. It would not have been as great of a sequence if Yoda was CGI, and I'm so happy that they brought Frank Oz to do the puppetry. Yeah, this monologue from Yoda coming up. And then hearing Yoda's theme in the background. Yeah, that line, "the greatest teacher failure is," and Yoda pretty much saying, yeah, take the good stuff and pass on to the next generation, but also take the bad. Like, take weakness, folly, and failure. King Raiko says, "You can't change the past, so only use it as a teacher for how to best shape the future." Yeah. Meanwhile, um, don't do it, Rose. King Raiko asks, how long could Force Ghosts influence the weather, though? I don't know. Yeah, this here's an interesting look into what DJ believes. Um, yeah, it's like for there's some people out there in the galaxy that just see like either side, the First Order or the Resistance, as just the same thing. I guess similar to how some people view Republicans and Democrats as the same thing, and there's not really a difference. So that's an interesting idea, but also it's like, yeah, both sides, like the side that's portrayed to be the good guys might be problematic, but the people painted as the bad guys are so much worse. All right, you take off turn, Jenkins. I didn't mean that in a disrespectful way. You have a good night. So both sides are at fault. I wouldn't say both sides are at fault, but as Rogue One established, the Rebel Alliance has done some really shady things in order to yeah, um okay, I'm trying to catch up with a lot of these comments. Do you think Holdo made some mistakes as a leader that should have been noted in universe? No, no. I think Holdo's in the right because again, um, like it only makes sense that the higher ups know the plan, because maybe I'm trying to fill in the blanks, but I'm sure the higher ups are in the Resistance are thinking if if the First Order could track us through light speed, they probably have something on board that like they can to where they can like they can listen in on our transmissions. Um um Isaac says, I'm going to get so much hate for this, but when this movie came out, this was for me what The Dark Knight was to everyone back in 2008. I thought it was the Star Wars movie that elevated Star Wars to a new level. I agree. I 100% agree with that statement. So do not feel you're among friends, huh? Or at least like the person who's moderating and hosting this whole thing. You're among allies, Isaac. Don't worry about that. But anyway, as for Holdo, like not telling the plan to everyone, to quote Nick Fury from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, it's called compartmentalization. Nobody spills all the secrets because nobody knows them all. All right, that First Order officer that was looking at the little glitch in the system, for a second, I thought that was Andrew Guy from um, Action Movie Anatomy and the Schmodown. Huh? That's a weird like fake out shot, huh? Where it looks like a ship, but it would have it maybe a better way for them not to have been caught is if Finn got back in his old stormtrooper garb. Like if you have two First Order officers walking around, but Finn's out there in the open. The First Order know who Finn is, so would have made more sense if he was in stormtrooper armor. There's BB-9E. There was a deleted scene that got cut from this movie. Well, one, it was the deleted scene that featured Tom Hardy as a stormtrooper, thinking that Finn didn't get didn't betray the First Order, but instead got promoted to an officer. But also, they had this giant set that was modeled off of Billy Wilder's The Apartment. And Rian Johnson has talked about how that was, out of all the deleted scenes, that was the hardest for him to cut. Random question. Which show do you think is better, The Clone Wars or The Mandalorian? Right now, I'm going to say The Clone Wars. Mandalorian's great, but I guess Clone Wars has more to offer. And because The Clone Wars is more episodic, and yeah, because The Clone Wars is more episodic, you don't have to watch every single arc in it. And there are only a few parts of... There are only like... You can only watch a handful of arcs in the Clone Wars, and you won't feel like you're missing anything. King Ryko said Ryan should have been allowed to show more of his vision. I mean, he said he had no problems with, like, no production troubles with Disney when making this movie. Like, it's weird. Like, Rogue One and Solo had production hell on both films. But there were no production issues when making The Last Jedi. And even then, it's like, Rian Johnson knows that you had to cut stuff out for time and pacing. King Ryko said, I should really watch The Clone Wars. Can I officially view the entire show? You can on Disney Plus, but I would recommend you try to find a list of the best arcs to watch. That way you don't waste your time with some of the bad stuff. Okay, this shot popping up. That I love, like, when Holdo distracts the other resistance fighters and she sets her blaster to stun. You can see Laura Dern mouthing. You can see Laura Dern going, pew, pew. Like, that is awesome. Question for everyone. Which fan base divided do you think caused the most damage to the franchise? Star Wars, Game of Thrones, final season, or Last of Us? I don't think it's the fan base. It's not the fan base. But it's the product, because Game of Thrones ending the way it did, that just put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And I don't think anyone's divisive when it comes to season 8 of Game of Thrones. Everyone's in agreement that it's crap. Yeah, DJ was quick to surrender. She's back. How do you feel about Captain Phasma dying again? Well, to go back to The Force Awakens, where a lot of that movie was left to interpretation on what happens next, we didn't see Phasma die. Just in the same way that Boba Fett fell in the Sarlacc pit, but he didn't die. He came back in The Mandalorian, so... But in this movie, again, because Rian Johnson doesn't really care about leaving things open-ended. Like, she got a definitive death. Laura Dern's inner child showed there. Yeah. Um, Isaac says, I wish the deleted scene where Finn calls out Captain Phasma about Starkiller Base was still in the movie, yeah? Yeah. I wish that scene was still in the movie because it really shows Phasma, who we thought was this really badass stormtrooper captain. She's actually a coward and will do anything to protect herself. Huh? I've said this before, but I think Phasma does more in these two movies than Boba Fett ever did in the original trilogy. So, but that's just me. Obviously, in the long run, Boba Fett got more to do because of The Mandalorian, but if we're just talking about the movies, Phasma did a whole lot more than Boba Fett. And she's more important in enhancing Finn's story than her being a character herself. King Raiko says, now we rejoin Mr. Didn't Need to Be Darth Plagueis the Wise. Shut up. Huh? Now, was it Rian Johnson that held up that card saying, your Snoke theory sucks? Yeah, what? Maybe it's Photoshop, but maybe it's Photoshop. But this photo right here, I don't think you can see the text. There you go. Your Snoke theory sucks. So yeah, that's like, yeah, that's, and then because of Poe Dameron's ignorance, and that he was more concerned with being a hero and a hothead, his actions lead to this moment coming up. Snoke was going to be killed eventually, but I was surprised that it happened in the second movie. Traitor. Did you? Again, this is kind of Finn's. This is Poe's doing. Again, unwillingly. this was like something he didn't account for. But I mean, you gotta keep the tension going. It's like, Snoke's like, lady, please, I'm more powerful than you in terms of the Force. That is an interesting magnifying glass. King Raiko says, I'm fine with Snoke getting killed in the second movie because Kylo's rise to power in the First Order, his release from everything holding him back, his connection to the dark side is what we needed for the stakes to rise in the final chapter. Absolutely. It's a damn shame that they had to throw all that out the window once they revealed that Palpatine was still alive, because then Kylo Ren's no longer the main villain. That's not too bad of a theory, Isaac. He says my Snoke theory was that he was the son from Mortis Reborn. I mean, I don't know. It out of all the Snoke theories on like trying to make him a pre-existing character, that's probably the best one I've heard. It's better than him being Darth Plagueis, Tarkin, and just some other random characters. This moment, it's like this moment it's still like a oh shit moment, and that Snoke got killed in the most unceremoniously way possible. Because again, it's like he's not that big. He's important for Kylo Ren's character development. He doesn't matter as a character. And plus, it's just like he was a knockoff Emperor thanks to J.J. Abrams. And I felt like Rian Johnson kind of knew that. And it was more important for him to lead Kylo Ren to be the main villain. I do like that little part there where he says maybe. Um, okay, a lot of people have accused a lot of people have accused Rey of being a Mary Sue, but let's look at this fight here. Who does the most ass kicking in this sequence? Is it Rey or is it Kylo Ren? Because Rey's holding her own, sure, but Kylo Ren's the one who's beating all the ass. Like, he stabs that dude, and then throws him into a propeller, where he gets chopped into bits. Rey's having trouble with one of those, guards. Kylo Ren decapitates that one dude. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the whole Rey's a Mary Sue argument was always stupid, and it was created by Max Landis, who's, I don't know, Max Landis is just a scum. And then who gets the coolest kill? Who does the coolest kill in this fight? Like this moment right here. Just quickly turn off and on the lightsaber. It's great. And this moment where it's like, she thought there was an alliance between them, and then we get the big truth that Snoke was never... Kylo Ren never killed Snoke because he turned to the light. He killed Snoke so he could become Supreme Leader. Filthy junk traders sold you off for drinking money. Isaac said film and stuff pointed this out, but the reveal of no one actually comes at the same as the Empire twist. I mean, it's a different way. It's a different way to look at it. I mean, that's her. Again, the easiest thing Rey could have heard was that she is related to somebody that we know. But the hardest thing for her to hear is that she's a nobody, which I think makes that character more interesting. James177 says, I feel like the way the lightsaber combat in this movie is choreographed feels very Kurosawa-esque. That's not surprising considering how much this franchise has been inspired by him. Yeah. Okay, now here we come to the what's called the Holdo Maneuver. So many people have criticized this as why couldn't they have always done this? And here's the reason why they couldn't always do this before. Well, it makes no logical sense to throw away like millions of credits of it makes no sense to waste starships and use them as kamikazes. And also, this was an act of desperation that Holdo committed. It's like when Han in A New Hope said that we have to make the precise calculations or else we'll collide with something. It's like, I'm sure nobody wanted to find out what happens if, like, nobody wants to commit suicide while jumping to hyperspace. Again, this was an act of desperation. Holdo's trying to save the Resistance. So she makes the bold move. She makes the move to, like, disable the First Order with this maneuver. And God, the decisions that he made to he as in Rian Johnson made to present this scene I just remember in the theater, everyone just going, whoa. Like, no sound whatsoever. And it's just it's like the funniest part of that sequence was no sound and everyone just going, whoa. Holdo went to Lightspeed with every intention of ramming the Supremacy, but what if her calculations were off and she missed? I'm surprised how it should have ended did not show that. They treated their only child like an item. This is about Rey's parents. They treated their only child like an item, gave her away to get drunk, went away and eventually died, buried and forgotten, never to learn that their daughter was gifted in the Force. That was powerful and helped make Rey her own entity from Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Yeah, this moment, it's like, it's cool to see BB-8 save the day, but even Finn and Rose are confused at that part. So again, Finn has nothing to do in this movie. I beg to differ. Like, The Force Awakens and the first half of this movie is Finn wanting to run away from the war altogether. But this point, it's like, all right, there's no running away. Get out of my way, generic stormtrooper. I'm going to take out the one person that has pretty much suppressed me and kept me in fear this whole time. So that's character development for your ass right there. And this fight between Finn and Phasma, while short-lived, it's important for Finn in that, yeah, he's now officially with the Resistance. And then this point, BAM! Isaac said Phasma's fight with Finn was cooler than anything Boba Fett did in the original trilogy. Yep. I still would have preferred Phasma's original death. Minus the fact that she loses a hand. But, yeah, Finn is now done running. He's now officially part of the Resistance. How do I feel about the retcon of Rey's parents being Palpatines? We will get into that next time. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Okay, I gotta say, we're in the last act of the movie, or I guess the fourth act, because this movie feels like it has 4 acts rather than 3. And I gotta say, I'm proud that the comment section has not been as toxic as I had feared. So I'm really proud of all y'all for being civil people. The original Phasma's original death was that Finn was surrounded by stormtroopers. He tells Phasma straight to her face that you put us in fear, you tower over us, but when your shiny neck was threatened, you squealed like a whoop-hog. When I pointed a gun at your head, you shut down Starkiller Base. Phasma says, who would believe a story like that? And then the stormtroopers kind of lower their blasters, look at each other, then question Phasma's authority. You could see Phasma's eye looking at the stormtroopers behind her as she's, like, nervous. Like, I'm in trouble. And then she pulls out a blaster pistol and kills all 4 stormtroopers. And then, just to hide the truth. And then Finn kills her. That's the final... That's Phasma's alternate death, and I think it's a much better death. It's like a First Order ship crashed into this base. We're just going to keep blasting it. King Raiko says, and Finn's point is proven. Yeah, I guess out of all the deleted scenes in this movie, there are only two that I wish stayed in. The third lesson and Phasma's alternate death. You can find the deleted scene on YouTube, I think. I think the Star Wars YouTube channel uploaded it before the Blu-ray came out. Alright, those foxes are pretty neat. It's a shame that Neil Scanlon and his team built actual animatronic Arctic crystal foxes, but they were never used. Okay, when BB-8 tells C-3PO the statistics, yeah, this part right here, all the way in the background, Edgar Wright is one of the Resistance soldiers. I mean, it's a brief shot, but Edgar Wright's pretty recognizable. Why do they need comms to contact the Resistance when Lando can do it in one afternoon? Let's not get into that just yet. Oh, and then also, in the same way Rian Johnson cameoed in Rogue One as one of the Death Star technicians, Gareth Edwards cameos as one of the Resistance soldiers. He's next to the guy that delivers us this glorious meme. Yeah, that's Gareth Edwards right there. Isaac says Edgar Wright needs to make a Star Wars movie now. I need to see it now. I think Lucasfilm needs. I think we need to have more reassurance that the creators can have free reign before we give Edgar Wright a Star Wars movie. Once that happens, let's give it to him. What the hell? This movie is so gorgeous. And we're at the end of the movie, so it's like at this point there's no more, like, outside of the big scene with Luke at the end, there are no more plot details I need to revisit in order to that would change my opinion on the movie. And I almost 4 years later, I still love this movie as much as I did the first time I saw it. Yeah, that was Gareth Edwards, right next to the Resistance trooper that did this. Salt. Here's my opinion on, like, Star Wars going forward. They don't need, now that the saga's done, even though it ended in a horrible way, Star Wars is such a huge sandbox that I don't think they need to have continuity. Like, they don't need to have somebody like Kevin Feige to, like, call the shots. Like, I mean, the MCU works because, the MCU is much more interconnected than Star Wars is. So you need a strong head producer like Kevin Feige. But with Star Wars, now that the main story's over, I couldn't agree more, Finn. Like, when the Falcon pops up. Oh, remember in The Force Awakens when Finn said to Rey, try sitting in this thing. Rey's sitting in it. And, yeah, she's just kicking ass in that quad cannon. But yeah, I think like Taika Waititi's doing his own Star Wars movie, and they just need to let him do what he does best. Patty Jenkins is doing Rogue Squadron, which I'll say something about that when we get to the end of this watch party. Yeah, Rian Johnson is still on board to do his own Star Wars movies, so. And then she may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. But oh, by the way, I love that Rian Johnson was this part of the chase was influenced by the original Star Tours when you fly through the comet. And I love how Rian Johnson pointed that out. And then that this eventually became a part of Star Tours The Adventures Continue. Oh, there goes the satellite dish again. Okay, so here's a continuity error. Or here's a continuity error. The quad cannon that Rey was firing broke off when the Falcon was trying to maneuver through the canyon. And then we see that same cannon shoot a hole so the Falcon could escape. For the longest time, I thought it was the other cannon on autopilot. But then, if you take a closer look, it's like, no, the Falcon's upside down when it's shooting. So, that's a continuity error. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean... So, again, here we get more details on Poe's character arc. If this was Poe earlier in the movie, he would have continued to go full speed ahead. But now that Poe's more leader-like, he realizes we can't win this, so we have to pull back. So yeah, Poe's officially a level-headed leader. And then this part, like Finn, Finn definitely, like I want to look at Finn and go, look, dude, it's cool that you now are dedicated to the Resistance, but this is not the most logical way to do this. Like, it is supposed to be a noble hero sacrifice. The music it plays during the chase through the canyon is from A New Hope. Yeah, and I always, like, normally I just hum it constantly because it's such an action-packed moment. I like how that ATM-6 just kind of looks at the two speeders crashing like, wow, did that really happen? See, I don't think the intention... I would not have been happy with Finn sacrificing himself right here. To just have him be killed in the second movie, because if they were sticking to the original plan, and yeah, there actually was some sort of plan ahead of time where Finn was going to lead a stormtrooper rebellion in Duel of the Fates, then we wouldn't have had that. See, I don't hate that line right there. That kiss is awkward. Like, I would have not included that. I hate to go down the route of if I was directing this, but that's a moment that I just don't think. I don't think that kiss works at all. So yeah, this is I absolutely adore the ending. I think this is one of the reasons why I think The Last Jedi is going to live on as one of the best Star Wars movies, because mainly because of this finale. There's so much great things about it, but I think this ending with Luke is maybe my favorite sequence in the entire film. Definitely my favorite in the entire trilogy. And then you hear Luke and Leia's theme. If knowing that this is the last time we officially see like Luke and Leia together. I mean, we see them together awkwardly as Force ghosts, but knowing that Carrie Fisher at least got to act opposite Mark Hamill before her passing. I hate how many people thought like saw. I mean, I guess we all saw Luke not actually being on Crate as a twist, but I mean, he plays it out as like he delivers hints that yeah, he's not actually there. Like when Luke puts his hand on Leia's hand and she looks up, like you get that sense that he's not really there. Oh, those three resistance soldiers that just poked their heads out before Poe Dameron blocked them. Those are Mark Hamill's kids. King Ryko says, "Forget the detractors. If Luke really was a coward, he wouldn't have done this." Yeah, I mean, this is the whole point that I think people missed. It's like the old Jedi ways have failed. So be the person that be an example of what the Jedi should be, not what they're painted as in the days of the Old Republic. And also, like people have said, Luke Skywalker should have actually been on Crate. Um, if he actually was on Crate, um, the movie would have ended right here because that would have killed Luke instantly. That's me whenever I hear Rian Johnson's doing more Star Wars movies. More. I like how it creates a mushroom cloud. Yeah, there's several hints to show you that Luke's not really on Crate, and yeah, I love this. I love this moment that comes up. And again, the whole point of this fight, of this sequence, was not. It's not about the lightsaber duels. It's not about beating Kylo Ren. It's about it's about Luke distracting the First Order so the Resistance can flee. Because he knows like Kylo Ren's anger is going to get the better of him, and since the entire leadership of the First Order is in disarray, like it's this the perfect opportunity. I know, like, the backgrounds are obviously green screen, but they still look amazing. It's this still the duel on Crate. I mean, duel is gorgeous to look at. But no, Luke didn't need to do any awesome world-shattering tricks and moves. He used the Force for the opposite of that, which has been the true point of being a Jedi since Star Wars infancy, for defense, not attack. Yeah, that's yeah, no, and yeah, that's important for Luke's character arc in this movie. But then this moment right here, where when Poe realizes what Luke's doing, like he's like, hot-headed Poe Dameron would have gone out there and helped him, like guns a-blazing. But since he's learned throughout this movie, he realizes, no, he's doing this for a reason. He's distracting them so we can get out and survive. And then Leia gives Poe command right there. This is a personal nitpick, but I do kind of I am disappointed how underutilized R2 is in this trilogy. And that's not really fair to say because R2D2 is more of a side character. He's not a main character, but I would have loved to see more R2D2 in this trilogy. Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, King Raiko says, hey, all those people who wanted to see post Return of the Jedi Luke be an anime worthy badass, you got your wish in The Mandalorian. So, when The Mandalorian Season 2 ended, I had a problem with Luke Skywalker popping up and just cutting it down to all those dark troopers. But time's gone on. I've actually grown to really love that sequence because it's what Luke would have done back then. It's really badass to see Luke be just a badass Jedi, but I also know we can't have that Luke Skywalker, like, that Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian cannot survive without this Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Like, I realize my main problem with the way it was presented in The Mandalorian is that it kind of feels like a cop-out and leaves so many questions in the air about other stuff that didn't get resolved in the season. I love using that quote. Every word that you just said was wrong. Yeah, Finn and Rey are finally reunited, but now, like, Finn's concern is no longer for Rey's safety. It's more because he's officially joined the Resistance, so there's more to fight for than her. Yeah, yes, Tevya, technically Luke was built up, but the way the scene was executed, like it felt like a big cop out in terms of like our characters are in danger. Let's see how they get out of this. Oh wait, here's another party coming in to save them, just easily. That's what I'm more speaking about, because I know it was established in the prior episodes. Yeah, right there. It's like this is the most Jedi thing that has ever been done in the series. Because, yeah, I mean, Luke, and then when Luke dies, he dies on his own terms, and he does not give Kylo Ren the satisfaction of killing Luke. Like, he embarrassed Kylo Ren twice. Um, he distracted Kylo Ren long enough for the Resistance survivors to flee, but he also denied Kylo Ren wanting to kill Luke. At this moment where they can both Rey and Leia sense it that Luke's dying. It kind of surprised me also that Luke got killed off in the second movie, but whereas Han's death was more shocking, kind of. But I was more welcome to Luke's death, and there, like with the twin sons, Luke's life and journey ended the way his life and journey began, and now he is one with the Force. Here's a shot pulled right from Revenge of the Sith, and I think Rian Johnson has even admitted that. Now, see right here, like this shot of Hux looking at uh, Kylo Ren, there could have been great potential for like the First Order leadership is so much in chaos that not only does the Resistance fight back against the First Order and crumble it, but their leadership is so disjointed that Hux forms a coup against Kylo Ren, and the First Order pretty much falls from within. Like that would have been a great concept to follow up with, and I don't think that was in Duel of the Fates or the original script, but whatever. And then the Falcon goes to light speed, and everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. So interesting that Poe and Finn, no, Poe and Rey never actually got introduced in The Force Awakens. I actually don't have a problem with seeing with not seeing Luke, Han, and Leia together again. All three of them together again, because this trilogy was more. I prefer that the that those three characters were more to the side, and that the focus was on our new heroes. Um, that little porg just standing on R2's head. And then here it's like the galaxy was in fear of helping the resistance because they knew there was no hope. But Luke's sacrifice influenced these kids. Like, Luke Skywalker has become the legend that people painted him as again. And he's delivered a spark of hope in the galaxy. This kid looks off in the distance. He sees a ship jump to hyperspace. And yeah, that's a lot. A lot of people joke that this is the written and directed by Rian Johnson. I still love this movie. It's like every time I rewatch this movie, thinking maybe this will be the time I see everyone's side when they don't like it. It's like, nope, still adore this movie. I still think it's going to stand the test of time as one of the best Star Wars movies. Like, Ben Bateman from Action Movie Anatomy said this. Whereas the Last Jedi is going to live on as one of the best Star Wars movies, and people will eventually, it'll gain more appreciation as the years go on. Whereas The Rise of Skywalker is going to constantly fight for position of the worst Star Wars movie. King Ryko said, and then Episode 9 was canceled forever, leaving the sequel trilogy on a hopeful but inconclusive note. Yeah, I mean, one could hope. Apparently, there's an independent artist out there who's making a comic book, just a comic book for fun. No plans to publish it at all, based on Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates script. I would really like to see that, because maybe I can use that as my own headcanon for how the sequel trilogy ends. And also, shame on everyone who petitioned to remake this movie, because in loving memory of our princess Carrie Fisher, suggesting you want to remake Episode 8 means you are deleting Carrie Fisher's final performance, and that is fucking insulting. I don't remember the guy's name who's making it, but I think it's more of like a hobby that he's doing this. Because again, I don't think he's doing it for profit, and no, sure as hell Disney would not allow that. But yeah, okay, here's what I was going to say about Patty Jenkins doing Rogue Squadron. I've had time to think about Wonder Woman 1984, and while I don't think it's a terrible movie, it certainly has not aged well, and the more I think about it, the more it kind of sucks. I mean, there are things I like. There are a lot of things I like in Wonder Woman 1984, but at the end of the day, it's not that good of a movie. I know I originally gave it my rating of good but not great, but that's one of those movies that kind of it's got huge problems. But at the same time, I'm not going to look at Wonder Woman 1984 and go, man, you got to get rid of Patty Jenkins for Rogue Squadron or Wonder Woman 3. I look at it more like, okay, look, you made two really great movies with Monster and the first Wonder Woman. Then you fumbled with Wonder Woman 1984. That's fine. Look forward to seeing what you're doing next. And that's my attitude towards her doing Rogue Squadron. And just the fact that she talks about how her father was an F-4 Phantom pilot that kind of helped influence her for Rogue Squadron makes me think, all right, that movie's in perfectly capable hands. And then, yes, but I would prefer, to see what she, I think the best thing to do is just not have any interference with from Disney or like Kathleen Kennedy. Like Kathleen Kennedy, I think she's fine as president of Lucasfilm. Especially considering that George Lucas himself gave her that position. Like what Patty Jenkins needs to do, she just needs to hire the people who are writing. She needs to hire the people who are going to make the movies, and then just let them make the movies. And I'm excited to see what Patty Jenkins does with Rogue Squadron. I'm excited to see what Taika Waititi does with his Star Wars movie. And I hope we get to hear more on what Rian Johnson's doing with his Star Wars films. I mean, he's going to be working on the Knives Out sequels, so he's going to be busy, but I hope he stays on, because I would like to see what he can do when he's not when he's allowed to like really make his own story and not continuing someone else's. But if somehow those movies don't happen, then hey, he gets to make more original projects, and I'm excited for that. So yeah, this was The Last Jedi. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you so much for all being civil human beings. I did not have to wield that ban hammer. I did not have to give y'all warnings. Y'all did good, and I just really, I really did sound like I came from Texas right there. I mean, I was born in Texas, so I'm babbling at this point. Anyway, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but we're finishing off the Star Wars Skywalker saga with The Rise of Skywalker, which I am not anticipating. I mean, okay, I'm not anticipating it, but we'll just get to that when we get to it. Again, I don't know if I don't do it tomorrow, it's probably going to be next week. I'll keep you guys updated through social media, like Twitter, and if you see the YouTube link, then yeah, it's right there. So thank you guys again. If you subscribe to me on YouTube, but you do not follow me on Twitch, that is twitch.tv/RealMrRobinson. How many people are on Twitch, by the way? Maybe we can raid a channel. Only one person's watching. 10 people watching on YouTube. Yeah, we'll save a Twitch raid for let's save a Twitch raid for when I get back to the weekend streamings. When I get back to streaming games on the weekend. James Bond 007 says, The Last Jedi, more like the last good Star Wars movie. Oh, stop that. Solo was fun. I like Solo. But anyway, yeah, if you subscribe to me on YouTube, but you do not follow me on Twitch, that is twitch.tv/RealMrRobinson. I will be back to streaming on the weekend soon. Just bear with me. You guys survive one more weekend, and then hopefully we'll be back to it. If you follow me on Twitch, but you do not subscribe to me on YouTube, that is youtube.com/TheRealMrRobinson. It's my main hub of entertainment, movie reviews, TV show reviews. Hopefully I'll be getting back to theme park stuff soon, so go subscribe there. If you like what I'm doing with either channel, you want to help support financially, that is patreon.com/TheRealMrRobinson. You can help pledge. You can help support the channels for only $1 a month, but if you want access to exclusive content that no one else gets to see, you can pledge $3 or more. If you can't do either, that's totally fine. Subscribing to me on YouTube and following me on Twitch is good enough, and we've just finished the end credits of this movie. I paused 1 second before the movie actually ends. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated on when I'll be doing the Rise of Skywalker watch party. And then after that, we move on to Harry Potter. But before that, Godzilla vs. Kong does come out on Blu-ray June 15th. I will be doing a watch party on that day. So keep your eyes open for that. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being civilized with this movie. And until next time, this is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only